Ulta has announced that it's pausing its not stop and shop, which you could also do, but it's pausing its shop and shop expansion plans with Target. According to Retail Dive, Ulta Beauty's new CEO, Kecia Steelman, told an audience at JP Morgan's annual Retail Roundup conference last week that the beauty retailer would hold steady at its roughly 610 Target shop and shops this year. The news comes after the two retailers opened 101 Ulta Beauty at Target locations in 2024, and that back in Q2 last year, Steelman said that Ulta was still on track at that point to meet their 800 store commitment with Target. Chris, I have to know, what do you think here about Ulta's decision to pause this expansion at Target? And what does this tell you about that relationship?
Ooh, oh man, and yes, we're starting off a little spicy. Starting
Yeah, why not?
April 16th podcast off spicy. It's after tax day, so why not? Let's get a little hot and under the collar to start out. Well, my big take here is that something definitely feels amiss. I think that's without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because and here's why. I look back at Target's earnings call because I was kind of like, I thought they talked about beauty performing pretty well. And
Yep.
they did. Here was a direct quote from Target CEO Brian Cornell right out of the get-go in that earnings call. And I counted it, folks, in the 6th paragraph of his 24-paragraph opening prepared remarks. That's how early it was. He said, quote, "We had an outstanding year in beauty. We saw nearly 7% sales growth and share gains," end quote. I'm like, say what? Like, and Ulta's pausing. So how does that jive, man? Like, I just don't get it. I'm dying to hear what you think too, but
Yeah.
it does make me wonder. It makes me wonder a few things. So first of all, how was that sales performance that he quoted weighted against the front end of last year versus the back end? Because Target's back end has not been that great.
Sure.
Number two, the numbers I've seen from our friends at Placer.ai recently show Target's traffic just fall. Sorry, Target's traffic. What the hell is traffic at? Target's traffic falling off an absolute cliff in February.
Yep.
Now, I haven't seen the March numbers yet, but that's particularly, it's correlated with their DEI stance. And so God knows what Ulta's seeing from a traffic perspective. And Ulta's probably looking at this as well as all the other macroeconomic factors that are playing into things and saying like, we just don't want to make investments right now in this. And sorry, Target, like you're just not showing us what we need to see from you to say, hey, we want to invest in 200 more stores roughly with you. So that can't be good for Target because that means some of the comp sales that they were counting on from this rollout is not going to happen. And Target, as we talked about on the show, growth and comp has been hard to come by. So, and it's some of the best analogy that I can make. I think you're going to love this. Do you remember the movie
God.
Can't Buy Me Wait? You remember, or Can't Hardly Wait? Remember the
Can't hardly wait. Yes.
Can't Hardly Wait,
Yes.
not Can't Buy Me Love. Can't Hardly Wait. You remember that movie? Well,
Yes.
do you remember Mike Dexter? Mike Dexter was like the cool guy. And then Jennifer Love Hewitt dumps him. He's like the bee's knees. He's dating her.
Yeah.
And then he's left for the entire movie just wandering around the party looking absolutely pathetic. And I feel like Target is becoming the Mike Dexter of retail now, potentially with Ulta saying like, we're not going to go with you. They're
Mike
going
Dexter?
back to Kate Spade, which is kind of like Kate Spade is kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. They've got the pea catchers on the aisle. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't want Target to be the Mike Dexter of retail. But anyway, what do you think? Yeah. So I told you I was going to start off hot. I did. I tried to bring the analogy.
Oh my
what
God.
do you think?
You brought it all, and how I'm going to tie this together is still a mystery to me. So stick with us, folks. I'm not too surprised. I mean, just given what you said in traffic alone, I mean, Ulta and Sephora are neck and neck trying to gain share in as many locations as they possibly can right now. And I think for me, it's really looking at Kecia Steelman. She just took the reins as CEO a few months ago, and she's a tried and true ops leader. I mean, she also worked at Target herself before, coming into role at Ulta. And so I trust that she's making a move here that's looking out for what's best for Ulta and the operations that they're doing inside those Target stores. And my guess is it's just, it's a perfect storm of things happening all at once. I think it's an uncertain economy, lower footfall, and also, maybe she just wants to give a little more germination time to some of these concepts too. Like they just rolled out a bunch more in 2024. Like this is a
Yeah. How well are
big
those doing?
task.
Right.
Right. And so I think that maybe it's just like, let's pause. Let's not invest a bunch of money right now and just keep it on going and then dealing with the issues that may be arising, positive and negative out of this. And let's just be really strategic and thoughtful about it. And I think the last part that I'll add, especially in a beauty category, Chris, I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering how much the impact of a brand that's not doing well in popular culture right now and among some audiences that are big beauty supporters and big beauty
Ooh.
spenders. I'm
Oh, well,
wondering
where are you going with this? Wow, shots fired.
I'm wondering what's happening in terms of, I mean, I look at just the posts that have been or the comments that have been made on our Target posts alone, and I can
Yeah.
only imagine what's happening to Target and right now and what feedback they're getting from people. And maybe it's just Ulta saying like, hey, let's like let some of this settle before we start going big and we wrap our brands together so closely. So I those are just a few things that I think could be swirling around in the background. Ultimately, I think it's traffic to the stores and whether or not that this is really going to continue to make an investment for Ulta. But I think that some of those other things are also playing a factor.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So a couple questions for you in
Yeah.
retort. So
Yeah.
you interviewed Kecia Steelman at Shop Talk Fall, right? You last year on stage.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Right
Was
before she
she?
took the CEO role. Yes.
I can't remember. Was she in charge or did she oversee the Target rollout
She
too?
did.
She did,
Yep.
right? Okay,
Yep.
so this is a big deal because it's not like she's the new CEO saying, I want to reevaluate this, like I'm going to
Nope.
come in, carte blanche, stop everything till I get a sense of what's going on. No, she's been intimately connected with this rollout for a long time. So that makes this news even bigger to me when you read
Yes.
between the headlines, right?
I
Okay.
agree.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially,
Wow.
like I said, given her background. Like, I think everyone that I've talked to that's worked for her, it said that she's, a no BS kind of person. Like, either it's working or it's not. And we course correct immediately if it's not. And so that's where I think like you're really looking at some big calls here from Kecia about where the direction of the company is going and what's best for Ulta. So
And
it,
the,
it's
and the other, yeah, no, and the other question I wanted to ask you too, Ann, was, um, can you ever remember a time in the history of Target with its brand and its brand cachet where someone has announced a rollout and then said, we're going to pull back and not go forward with this? I cannot.
not
I
that I can
cannot
think of off the top of
in
my
my
head,
entire
but
20-year history of being intimately involved with that brand.
yeah, I
No.
mean, this is a huge undertaking as well. I mean, we're talking about complete remodels of stores and things to support this. So I think, this is really a
Ah,
unique case, but I think
that
you
happens all
have
the
to,
time. That happens all
well,
the time. I think the
not to the
remodeling and stuff
level,
happens all the
not to
time,
the level
particularly
for
if
Ulta and
not
location
for
one
Ulta, not
store.
for Ulta, no, not for Ulta, and the cost for Ulta too. But yeah, but people are coming in and remodeling those stores all the time and paying for the remodels all the time. But to your point, yeah, right, yeah, Ulta just doesn't see the value in it. So
Yeah.
crazy, wow,
Yeah.
wow, what a great
Either
start to the
way, not
show.
good news for Target right now, on top of everything else they're dealing with. Not the news that you want to be going out at this time. So
No,
hopefully
no, yeah.
something turns around.
So net, this story is more about Target too than it is about Ulta. Do you think that's because of our Minneapolis bias, or do you think that's really the case? I think it's actually really the case. I do. We try not to be biased on this show as much as possible.
Um, yeah, I would say it's more about what's happening with Target than I think you're right. I think it's more about what's happening with Target and Ulta's response to it.
Yeah. Wow. Fascinating. Fascinating discussion. God, it's gonna be fun to watch this year play out.